Our movie begins with Judy's mother overhears her having a sexual encounter with a man at her house. Despite Judy's pleadings, she becomes enraged and throws her against the wall before chasing the man. Sam, a new pizza delivery person, shows her coworkers a video of herself singing in the meanwhile. They simply start making fun of Sam as a result, though their manager then assigns them their daily delivery routes. Sam, unfortunately, suffers since her supervisor places her in Scroogetown, often known as S-Town, where people are notorious for not leaving tips. Sam's supervisor also charges her $5 for the thermal bag deposit, leaving her with no money for petrol. Even worse, one of Sam's coworkers, Duncan, makes an attempt to garner her attention by claiming that she owes him because it was Duncan who secured her the delivery job. She continually shouts two cuddly bunnies as she prepares to go, which helps her feel better. She discovers that S-Town lives up to its name once she is actually driving. She delivered to several clients, but not a single one of them left a gratuity. One man even made Sam help him move his sofa by claiming that she was obligated by the code of the Sams to aid a fellow Sam in distress. When she returns to the pizza shop, her coworker begins flirting with her once more, making her feel awkward. Sam seizes the chance when her employer informs them that they have a large order outside of their area. Sam's other coworker asks her where she's going to deliver, and she replies that she's headed to Mill Basin. As it turns out, her coworker has delivered there previously and saw that the locals were acting strangely toward one another. Sam is thus hopeful that she will gain something from this berth. She arrives at the enormous home and encounters Gary, a somewhat weird man who says nothing. Despite the enormous order, Gary continues to rip her off, resulting in her departing once more without a tip. Sam, though, has had enough of the pattern of poor treatment and low pay. She then summons the courage to knock on their door and request the tip she is due. When she receives no response, she just enters through a rear door that is not locked. She goes over to Kim, one of the participants, when she notices the gathering and asks for Gary. She doesn't pay attention to the presenter, Danica, when she gives her speech, though Sam is unaware that she entered a gathering of Satan worshippers. Sam interrupts the conversation to ask for a tip despite Kim's warnings to leave. Danica and Gypsy, their psychic, turn to her as a result. They now intend to use a virgin to conjure Baphomet, but they lost their first target when they discovered that she wasn't pure. Gypsy so inquires as to Sam's virginity. They came to the conclusion that Sam is undoubtedly a virgin when she was unable to respond directly. Danica then gives the squad the command to grab Sam before she gets a face full of sleeping powder. Sam discovers herself trapped in a living room with Danica's husband Samuel when she awakens. However, Samuel is in a similar situation to her and is also imprisoned as a result of upsetting Danica. Sam attempts to beg Samuel to let her go, but she is still unsure of what is taking place. Sam only laughs as Samuel attempts to explain the Satan scenario because he believes he is lying. She then makes her own escape attempt but is unsuccessful. Sam will give birth to Baphomet through her virgin womb. Samuel informs her after realizing she is the new virgin sacrifice. Sam continues to have doubts about him. Samuel tries to make a move on her while she is trying to crack the lock, telling her that by stealing her virginity he is saving her life. Sam flees from Samuel as he attempts to grasp her and begins to lick her face. Even so, he succeeds in holding her down while ripping off her clothes. Sam utilizes the brief opportunity provided by her phone's sudden ringing to strike Samuel in the face. Sam pulls him away and rushes to answer the phone as his bloody nose begins to trickle on her. When she realizes it's Duncan, she begins to beg for assistance, but Samuel commands her to put the phone down and points a pistol at her. Sam begs for forgiveness, but Samuel shoots without thinking, but no ammo is released. Samuel inspects the muzzle of the firearm after concluding that it is broken. He unintentionally shoots himself in the neck as a result. They try to retrieve Sam, but she's already left as the gang prepares for the ceremony. Instead, Samuel is encountered. Danica didn't assist her husband even though he was covered in blood on the floor. Instead, she uses the gunshot hole to insert her arm and seize one of his organs. Then she gives Danielle, one of her devoted friends, the instruction to bake it. Sam, on the other hand, is already escaping across the street and pleading for assistance at a nearby house. She meets Kristen there, who is presently watching over her younger siblings. Sam advises Kristen to contact the police, but because of her memory problems, she continues forgetting to do so. Instead, Kristen assists Sam in cleaning up the blood on her. Sam puts aside her pizza delivery clothes after tidying up. Sam hears screaming coming from one of the rooms, but Kristen claims that only she and the kids are inside the house. Sam is given a drink of Coke by Kristen before she goes to contact the police. She's ready to sip it when she hears the disturbance in the room once more, so she sets the glass down. She moves closer out of curiosity but pauses when she notices one of the youngsters grabbing her beverage. A little while later, Sam is given a jacket by Kristen, who also alerts her to the approaching cops. They rush back to the living room as they hear a child cry out of nowhere. When they arrive, they discover one of the children unconscious on the carpet. Sam discovers the empty glass before Kristen accuses him of giving the kid drink. She immediately sees the connections, but Kristen attempts to convince her that the youngster only has diabetes. Sam is suddenly tased by the other child, causing her to slap the youngster. Kristen begins encircling Sam with the taser after becoming enraged. At that point, Michelle, Kristen's sister, emerges while sporting a strap-on drill and turns her attention to Sam. Michelle is forced to become caught on the banister by Sam after she pushes Kristen away and uses her jacket to jam the drill. Sam is being choked by Kristen against the wall while Michelle struggles to free herself from the banister. Michelle also managed to escape as Sam was able to throw Kristen off of her. Unfortunately, when Sam pushes Michelle back, she unintentionally digs through her sister. Even with Kristen punctured, Michelle continues to assault Sam out of rage. However, when Sam steps out of the path, Michelle punches a hole in the wall and unintentionally electrocutes herself to death due to the wiring. Sam enters the room after hearing someone yell for assistance. She discovers Judy on the bed, nude and bound by ropes. Sam immediately obeys Judy's command to release the woman's ties. Judy starts getting ready to flee right away, and she doesn't want anything to do with Sam because he has no idea what to do or what is going on. Sam then tries to call for assistance, but the 911 call is diverted to the Satanist organization. When Gypsy learns they are at Kim's home, Gypsy hangs up the phone for Judy, but it is already too late. Additionally, Judy constantly warns Sam to stay away from her, but when she discovers that Sam managed to inadvertently murder the sisters, Judy accepts her as a friend. The cultists are already at the door as they try to flee. Judy immediately drags her to the rear door. Sam notices a young girl peering at them from the balcony as they depart. When Kim and her husband Steve finally arrive, they discover that their girls have passed away and begin to weep. Even Judy is given the responsibility for what happened. It becomes revealed that Danica, Judy's mother, gave Steve the order to kill Judy. Danica chastises Steve for letting Judy escape rather than feeling sorry for their loss. Gypsy immediately begins to disagree with Danica's direction because their night isn't going well. Danica receives Sam's clothing from Danielle when she unexpectedly finds it in the garbage. To get Samuel's organ from the oven, they return home. It seems to be living in straight out of a hellhole. They give the monster Sam's clothing and tell it to go find the virgin. The two women, however, are still having some communication issues. Sam wants to go, but Judy decides to hide inside another house since she understands that being on the streets will be just as hazardous. She begins sprinkling salt on each entrance there to block the entrance of any summoned creatures. Demons take laws seriously, therefore Judy says that they won't cross a salt border without counting every grain. Sam, however, continues to hold the opinion that Judy is lying and that nothing she says is true. Sam just chooses to break away from Judy out of sheer unease, informing her that she's going to fetch a shirt before leaving. She notices that she is at Gypsy and Gary's house as she looks around at the inside photographs. She fails to notice, however, when something invisible begins to blow the window's salt border off. A blanket begins assaulting Sam as she sits down to rest. Judy immediately steps in to save Sam and takes the blanket, soaking it under the sink before securing it in the refrigerator. After that, Judy tells Sam how a Haxan cloak nearly killed her. Gypsy begins after Danica's leadership once more once the group sees their cloak plan failed. Gypsy wants Judy's hair and intends to kill the girl because all of Danica's strategies were unsuccessful. Gypsy starts to take charge and instructs Danica to get rid of Duncan because he was on the phone with Sam earlier. No one, not even Danielle, takes Danica's side. Danica then makes a call to Duncan at their residence. Gypsy begins the voodoo ceremony to murder Judy in the meanwhile. Sam and Judy begin conversing and getting to know one another as they take a little nap on the couch. Sam, meanwhile, observes Judy begin to bleed from her eyes. Judy informs Sam of how to break the curse as soon as she realizes she is receiving one. When they go to the restroom, Judy starts taking off her clothes and tells Sam to seal her skin. Sam receives a precise set of symbols from Judy to break the spell, and they hastily begin writing. However, when circumstances worsen, Sam's resolve begins to fray. She steps aside as soon as she notices Judy throwing up a lot of worms. Judy, on the other hand, admonishes her to keep going and even instructs Sam to entertain her as they continue to write. Gypsy then begins prodding the voodoo doll with pins, which causes Judy to appear as well. But as soon as they successfully seal Judy's skin, the pins come off the doll. Gypsy tries to suffocate Judy with her own hair, but fails because she isn't ready to give up yet. After then, Sam and Judy succeed in their mission. Danica, on the other hand, invites Duncan to her home and convinces him to snort cocaine. Danica then removes Duncan's eyebrow now and places a plastic cover on the carpet. Duncan begins to slowly vomit his guts. Danica discovers the whereabouts of the females from that information. Judy discovers a concealed pistol in the cupboard and hopes to use it to defend them. Sam, however, does not believe that a rifle will suffice to combat the wicked cultists. Judy is able to maintain her momentum despite all the obstacles in her path. They take Danica right away when Gypsy returns with the others to confront her. Gypsy begins accusing Danica of having taught Judy how to skin seal, which turns the gang against her. Danica is already dead when Kim drives a spike in her skull before she has a chance to tell them where Sam and Judy are. Gypsy then makes an unsuccessful attempt to decipher Duncan's entrails in an effort to locate the girls, but she doesn't have to because Judy phones her on her phone. She informs Gypsy that in order to win their confidence and return to the gang, she would sacrifice Sam. She admits that they had been staying at Gypsy's home all along, excitedly giving the go-ahead. Gypsy instructs everyone to search their home for Sam. They are unaware that they were unsuccessful in killing Danica since she miraculously survives. In order to regain her vigor, she begins to devour human organs. In contrast, Gypsy appears to have fallen victim to a trap as they fail to discover the girls within her home. Instead, when one of their supporters unlocks a closet, the Haxan cloak kills them. Sam and Judy are actually escaping through the woods in the meantime. Of course, Sam is captured by a tree monster, so getting away isn't so simple. Judy starts shooting the beast right away to aid Sam. They both flee together toward the clearing, but Danica stops them. Sam is told to go by Judy, but Judy doesn't want to be abandoned. Judy doesn't hesitate to point the pistol at her own mother. Danica, however, takes out Judy's bracelet before she could fire, causing Judy to start choking. Sam snatches Judy's revolver while she's out so she can fight Danica, but Danica performs the same prank on her and uses a piece of Sam's old shirt to knock Sam out. The two girls are found bound to an altar and surrounded by cultists when they awaken. However, after forgiving Danielle, Danica retakes control and exacts revenge on Gypsy. Despite not being over water, she curses Gypsy to drown with just her words. She mistakenly destroys the salt circle in the backyard as she falls to her death. Danica isn't as understanding when Kim and Steve apologize to her and even kneel down to kiss her coat, but at least she spares the couple's lives. Danica had already made up her mind when Judy begins to beg for forgiveness from her mother. They immediately begin the ritual to call Baphomet as Sam's wound begins to grow. The cult members begin to disrobe and act strangely with one another in the meanwhile. She looks at Gary as she groans and begins to curse at him, blaming him for everything because he didn't tip. Sam manages to free herself with enough determination, and if they don't release go of Judy, she says she'll stab her womb. Danica, however, chooses to cut Judy's neck rather than give in to her requests. They capture her to get ready for the arrival of Baphomet while Sam laments the loss of her buddy. Sam repeats her mantra of 2 cuddly bunnies to soothe herself while doctors induce labor. Ironically, she had 2 fluffy rabbits as a result of her pregnancy. She finds herself waking up all of a sudden in the yard alone, free of the Satanists. The bunnies are still present, though Samaziel, a formidable demon that appears as a young girl, is playing when she turns to look around. Sam is shown the broken salt circle, demonstrating how Samaziel was able to enter. She revealed herself to be a greater demon to Baphomet, and she became enraged with the cult members for honoring Baphomet before her, all because demons adhere to tight hierarchies and norms. Additionally, she promises Sam that she will execute the cult members, including Sam, while taking care to spare Sam any pain. Sam explains the Code of Sam's, a guideline she shouldn't take a chance of breaching as well. She then successfully persuades Samaziel, who instructs Sam to flee as the demon begins to devour one of the bunnies. She finds herself back in the yard with the cult members all of a sudden. Sam picks up the second rabbit right immediately and flees as soon as she notices Kim using a blade to sever Danica's head from her body. Samaziel calmly chuckles at the cultist's pain as they all begin to suffocate. Sam returns to her Vespa soon after, where Samaziel waves goodbye as she departs. Back at the pizza food store, she announces her resignation right away and demands $5 back from the manager. This is how our movie ends. Leave us a comment on how you found this movie recap. See you in the following movie recap.